This is All Things Nerd production.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kobolds in the Basement podcast. My name is Chad Hillson, your dungeon master. We are joined with Dave Morris,
Caster Flamebeard,
Schaloan Dysland,
Luminora,
and Steven Dysland.
Valerian.
All right, let's get into it. This is Kobolds in the Basement. All right, before we get started, let's do a quick recap of what happened last time. It was King Johannes IV's name day, his 25th name day. During that time, our heroes, through various means, whether sneaking in, talking their way in, or signing up for the tournament, found their way inside the king's court for the more exclusive celebration of his birthday. We saw Luminora go through a tournament where she came out victorious over Sir Russell the Jackalware. Also during that time, we saw Valerian sneak his way through the crowds, gathering some information, hearing whispers of violence and darkness rising in the lands. A name stuck out that he did not recognize, Sozeb. And then, in true Cass Flamebeard fashion, he snuck into the dining hall and helped around, got some free ale and free food, helped the staff there. At the end of the tournament, before the king could give out his boons to the victors of the tournament, darkness rolled through the sky. The king was lifted off the ground, and a mysterious voice in everyone's heads was talking about how this king was unfit, and the real rulers were there to save them all. The king was then assassinated through snapping bones, a snapped neck, and thrown over the walls of the king, as some of the heavier protesting civilians dropped dead as well, only to be reanimated as undead. And alongside some cult followers, they started to wreak havoc on our heroes. During that time, we got to see how truly brutal Caster Flamebeard is, both with his warhammer and his trusty steed Gilly, as just stomped the living shit out of several undead and cult members. Also during that time, we saw
Gilly doing her best Miley Cyrus and coming in like a wrecking ball.
Don't you ever say. Also during that time, Valerian and Luminora were fighting in the courtyard as so many people fled, taking on multiple undead and cultists, only for Luminora to be struck down. Luckily, Caster came busting in on Gilly after wiping out his enemies to bring her back to her feet, where they finally vanquished those enemies in the courtyard. Before they got a chance to run off and heal or flee or just get away, they were surrounded by the King's Guard, which told them to lay down their arms and arrested them for the havoc that happened. And that's where we are beginning this week. So, everyone, you are now all in jail. You were arrested basically only because you were the only ones left standing after that brutal fight. So if everyone could drag themselves onto the map here into your own individual cells.
Those are some giant beds.
Yeah, that did not scale well, did it? But yeah, go ahead and pick a room. You guys are not going to be sequestered in the same room together. Basically, you can assume that Gilly is just tied up in the stables at that point in time. And that's where we are. So, during this time, It's been about a week that you've been held here, so everyone's back up to full health. You got your long rest. You're just all up and in here. You have some time to talk amongst yourselves, introduce yourselves, talk about that weird interaction with the mysterious voice, the cultists, the undead, and all of that stuff. So are you guys talking to each other? Are you sitting in solitude?
So, what you in for? I'm sorry. That was some weird shit. I never wanted to hear that thing's voice again.
Truth be told, I didn't know what to make of it.
It's been a long, long time since I've heard that. Well, actually, would I have heard him towards the end of my recent adventures, or would that have been back pre-adventures, so to speak?
Give me, let's call that a perception check.
It's only a 9.
Only a 9. You recognize the voice, from your later years.
Okay,
But you don't know its face.
Okay. I was just more thinking of if it was from my more recent encounters or much older encounters. So it's from the more recent ones.
Yes.
So it actually hasn't been that long since I've possibly heard it then.
Yeah,
Months.
just within the past year, maybe 2.
Yeah. Well, I have a general idea of what we're dealing with. Didn't think they'd actually come this far. It's quite the haul for them.
Do you mean to tell me you've heard this creature before?
Yeah, I've stared him down. Put my hammer into his shoulder too.
Sounds dreadfully exciting, but altogether terrifying.
Well, yeah, these assholes are absolutely horrible monsters. From the Murholds, we call them, and you probably know them as part of the Dalkir, dark monsters who, are servants of stronger masters who, in the case of my family, know them living underneath the Moorholds, and part of the reason the Moorholds don't always get involved is they're too busy making sure nothing escapes from underneath the moor to get out into the open. This guy and his pals, well, they're an especially terrifying group. They like to eat your brains, and I don't mean figuratively. They will literally eat your brains, and I kind of turn around and show them the X-shaped scar on the back of my head, where it looks like it's not like little lines. It looks like almost like 4 beaks tried to carve into his head.
Great Scott, sir.
These things are powerful. They're terrifying, and if they've gotten their ship here, that's really bad news. Because I got back here recently to this place, and well, I was hoping they wouldn't be able to follow me.
Are you saying you led them here, sir?
Did I say it again?
Are you telling me that you led them here, sir?
I don't think that they could have followed me the way I traveled. Plane shift is usually pretty hard to figure out. I would suspect they've been trying to get here for quite a while.
Would I be right to suspect that these are bars and not walls?
Yeah, they're like prison doors, cages.
Okay, Luminora goes right to the edge of this, right over here. Almost like trying to get a better look at this guy across from her.
Oh yeah, Chaz just stands up and just walks over. I mean, like I said, for a dwarf, he's tall, but he's leaner looking. If I had my guesses, these guys aren't originally from Eberron. They probably have tried to hook up with their family that lives down below with the Dalkir. And so they were probably already on their way here. I'm just surprised they got here this quickly. Last I knew, I was still a good 50 years away from here.
50 years?
And with that, Valerian, as you're listening to Cass's story, roll me like an intelligence check. Intelligence or history. So as he's talking about this, you start thinking back to just last week, and you remember hearing a voice that, or not a voice, but a name that you weren't familiar with, Sozeb. And it just keeps pinging when he's talking about, the family that were already here and the other masters. And that name just keeps ringing in your head, just at the back of your memory.
So,
I wonder if anything has to do with a certain Sozeb character.
I can't.
What have you heard of him?
I can't say that I've ever heard that name. I don't typically try to get their names when I would come across these bastards. I'd much rather smash their face and use part of what's left of it for calamari than try to negotiate or talk names with these guys because they can't be reasoned with.
How brutish. Though
Well,
it does sound effective.
sometimes people can't be reasoned with, and I wouldn't call these things people. I mean, they have many names, what they are. Some call them the Illithid in some circles. Other places, they're known as mind flayers. I've been dealing with these things for over 350 years. And you guys would notice he looks at him, and I mean, you guys probably are familiar enough with dwarves to know Cass looks like he's maybe 65 tops, and dwarves don't live that long typically.
So we're talking like middle-aged or...
I look like I'm 25 if I was a human,
Gotcha.
but dwarves usually max out their lives at around 300 years.
That's it.
As you guys are talking, I need you to roll me a perception check. Valerian gets a 19. Luminora, do you want to give a perception check?
I do, yes. Sorry, I just found it.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So out of the three of you, the only person that hears really anything during this conversation is going to be Valerian. You don't see anything, but you hear footsteps. But it doesn't sound like shoes or anything like that. It's almost like someone's walking barefoot, coming down the hall, kind of like how over the past week the guards would come down from this side and bring you food, water, send someone down to change the chamber pot, things like that.
Kaz would, of course, try to sweet talk his way into better food.
Give me a persuasion check. Everything's boiled. It's not seasoned.
Yeah, well.
Healthy, though.
So, that's a general bit of my story. So, what brought you two to this town? I was just on my way back to the Moorholds when I heard about all this, and I'm still trying to figure out what's been going on at Eberron because I've been out of the loop for the last 350 years.
Just as a side note, when Valerian hears these like footsteps, he just kind of scoots over to the side of the cell to tactically, I suppose. Does he hear that they're coming closer to us, I imagine?
With the 19, it does sound like someone... Well, I mean, there's basically, like, stairs right here. There's probably a few more cells farther down, but they're empty. They
They're
didn't...
like coming in our general direction?
Yeah, like coming down the stairs towards you.
Okay. So yeah, he just kind of unfocuses from the conversation and tunes his ears to these steps.
Okay, give me one more perception check. Just Valerian.
Gotta say, you guys are taking this pretty well. Most people don't even believe me or freak the F out.
With an 8, Valerian, as you get up, the rustling of your bed, your footsteps across your cell, and things like that, you hear the footsteps stop.
He still kind of puts his back to the wall, just uneasily, I suppose.
But a little paranoid.
Did you not hear that?
Nah, I'm not known for the best hearing or sight. I'm more known for my charming wit or my ability to smash things with a hammer.
Wit, clearly. Perhaps I am just paranoid, but
Hey, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean people aren't out to get you.
in my experience, sir, it's more often than not true.
So I look over at Luminaris. So what's your story? I can talk for hours. I got stories to put you guys well at your own old age, but sooner or later you're gonna get bored of listening to me.
So Luminora is just kind of with her back shoulders just leaning against the bars now with her back facing you, and she's kind of just like twiddling her thumbs. And with the response, she says, I came for a pardon from the king, but I guess now that won't be happening. And just slowly like walks her way right here and sits down right on that bed, kind of keeping to herself.
Aren't you two a bunch of chatty Cathys? Pardon from the king. Those never come easy. And they never come cheap. Even if you've been granted that from winning a tournament, there still would have been strings attached, in my experience.
She kind of just plops down with one swift movement and says it was worth a try.
Oh, of course. Everything's worth a try. Well, almost everything. But gotta be realistic sometimes and say, yeah, that wasn't worth it. I'm better off just going somewhere else where I don't need a pardon, or just beating the shit out of whoever thinks, you need to get a pardon from.
I must say, darling, you did win me a handsome small bit of gold with your performance in that fight.
She says very harshly, you're welcome.
Cass kind of closes his eyes for a second and just reaches out. It's like,
Well, at least so far they're treating Gilly okay. If they do anything to hurt her, well, then there'll be real problems for them.
As you finish that last sentence, I need one more perception check from everyone.
Cass is not good at rolling skills with that one.
Is that our first nat 1-y?
From you, yes. A couple of your opponents definitely rolled nat ones.
Oh, that was definitely Dave.
Okay, so this time Luminora hears these soft, barefoot footsteps coming down the stairs. You still can't see anything.
Are they coming from the same direction?
Same direction, yep.
So she swiftly gets up, moves to the other side of her cell. Can I do a perception check?
Yep.
How? Oof.
Another nat one. What's up, everyone? Are you like me and my friends, where your food tends to be lacking just a little something extra? If you are, look no further than Crybaby Craig's hot sauce to fix all of your seasoning and spice needs. From adding a little bit of heat or just enhancing the flavor, this pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce will go on practically anything. Started by Craig himself in Minnesota, this sauce has become the staple of sauces and flavor enhancers across the lands for many, many moons. If you don't believe me, check out crybabycraigs.com and order yours today to, well, quite frankly, better your life, or at least your taste buds. But be sure to let them know we sent you and enjoy the best damn hot sauce there is. Again, that's crybabycraigs.com, and let them know that we sent you. With that, I'm not even going to ask you to give me a stealth check as well. You get up so fast that you knock something off of your bed. It clangs. No more footsteps.
Well,
She stays deathly silent.
as much as I've been enjoyed hanging out here in these places, I should probably get out of here soon. That asshole's gonna be coming back looking for me sooner or later, and I'd much rather be able to meet him on my own terms than in this cell.
Oh, and I suppose you have a daring plan for escape, do you?
Daring? No, I don't do anything daring.
As you say that, a crumpled piece of paper gets thrown at your feet from the shadows of the stairs.
That mine?
Yep, at Cass's.
Reach down, pick it up, look at it.
This would be a good time to ask. Is Cass literate?
Yes.
Okay. So as you read it, it says, "Don't try to escape. They don't think you really had anything to do with the king's death. They are just showing strength to calm the people down. They will let you free soon from someone you can trust."
Really wish I could order takeout with this too, because I'm getting tired of the bread and boiled meat. That's the only reason I came to this whole place. I just wanted some good food. 350 years of ship food is no way to live.
As you say that, a guard comes down to basically bring you your food.
Any chance I can get some salt this time?
Roll me a persuasion check or a charisma check.
I'm rolling like shit this week. Because that is only a 5, which becomes a 10.
He rolls his eyes, reaches into his pocket, puts the salt on the platter, and says, "If I give you this, will you stop complaining?"
Do you really want to know the answer to that?
He starts to pick up the salt as like he's going to put it back in his pocket. You're just going to stay stoic.
It's your call, man. You can either be my friend, or you're going to be somebody who I may have to deal with later.
He pauses for a second. Give me an intimidation check with advantage.
That's a nat 20.
He remembers how the guards talked about how you fucking just decimated enemies out there. Puts the salt back on the tray and slides it under the bars and says, "Well, it's up to you if you want to share that. I'm not bringing more." And then leaves.
Fair enough.
So about another 2 or 3 days pass of this. You guys, get a chance to talk some more or just keep to yourselves. Completely up to you.
Cass keeps trying to get these two to say something, but, because he's just, it's like,
again, you guys seem to take this really well. I mean, I mentioned 350 years, and you guys are like, whatever. So you believe me and have heard of people like me, or you think I'm full of shit? I don't know. But sooner or later, that'll come in handy. One of these days, I might just have to. Probably should. I haven't reached out to him in a while. And so when Cass thinks about that, because it's been a while, he goes back over to like a little corner, and then kind of kneels and almost in like a meditative stance and everything, and is just trying to reach out to his grandfather's spirit and just say, "Jiraiya, I'm in the jail again. No, don't worry, it's not for anything I did this time. At least I don't think I did it. But if you got any advice on how to get out of here or what I should do, could definitely use some of your wisdom on this one. You were still the smartest guy I ever knew, and I miss you. But we'll talk soon, again soon."
And yeah, like those couple of extra days pass. Now you've kind of been in these cells for about 2 weeks now, and then some guards come down. Can
I say that Valerian, or roll something to say that Valerian fashioned himself a small shiv?
Give me what kind of check do I want that to be?
My gut says survival, but you're the DM.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for 2 rolls. Give me a survival check. This is gonna be a really 16 it's crassly made. It's not like you had a lot to go with. And then also give me a sleight of hand check with disadvantage.
I try to do disadvantage.
It's the same as advantage.
Right.
Absolutely.
You just take the lower of the 2 rolls. Okay.
Well, that's a good thing they're both a 14.
Okay. The guards come down just out of formality to lead you out of the dungeons. They do put your hands back in shackles.
Kaz was doing calisthenics when they came in. He's got to keep in shape.
Gets you all shackled. As they go to shackle Valerian, the guy sees the handle of your shiv sticking out of your pocket, grabs it, throws it on the bed, shackles you, and then they take you out of prison. And now they take you up to a throne room. You see up there, that guy's not actually there, sorry. They take you up to this throne room. You see just 2 knights standing on each side of the little dais. You see a well-dressed, clad nobleman standing next to the throne, not actually sitting on it. And on the other side, you see kind of like this lizard folk standing there, dressed in robes, has a big staff, and they're just standing there waiting for you guys to come in. So go ahead and drag yourselves onto the map at the lower end here. All right. So the guards bring you in. They unshackle you. And as they do that, this noble man walks forward. You see that he has a symbol, on his chest that kind of resembles that he was on the high court for the king. This man is the hand of the king. He's kind of a posh dude. He's about 5'7", not super tall. A little overweight. Definitely looks like he hasn't had to work for anything in his life. Never seen combat, outside of fighting pits or anything like that. What's that?
Sorry, personal joke.
Oh. Has never seen combat outside of like fighting pits or tournaments. And you can assume that back in the day he probably was in better shape, but now holds a higher place, so he doesn't do anything for himself. This is the hand of the king, the one who has advised King Johannes IV, and he looks a little worried. And he speaks up with a very clean and proper voice and says, "I am sorry for the weight and the formality of this imprisonment against you. Clearly, you were not a part of this attack, but rather held your own in defending the people of Pilus Marodal. From across the lands, it seems." And then he looks directly at Cass and says, "So let me introduce myself. I am the hand of the late King Johannes IV, his uncle, and now acting ruler of the realm. My name is Jakobis of House Bruin." He waits for a second. No one seems to speak up, so he says, "I'm sure you have many questions, but what is most important is that darkness has been rising across the lands from many adversaries to the realm in our plane. I tried warning the king about it, but it fell on deaf ears. Now, I know many of you do not reside within our border, and I know you did not ask this of our kingdom. However, you seem to be those equipped to actually help combat this ever-growing threat of evil. So the throne must ask this of you. Go out and help find answers for the death of our king, and how grave of a threat this new evil truly imposes." And he pauses for a second to wait for any sort of response.
You want to know how grave of a threat this is? It's the Dalkir, or at least some of their stronger minions, most likely.
Dalkir? Thought that was old wives' tales and stuff from the mountains. Of evil lurking below ground?
What do you think the dwarves of the holds have done for generations? Part of our job is to make sure they don't come out from underneath the holds. Every now and then they do. Unfortunately, I think this particular one came from somewhere else. I've encountered him before in my travels.
Where? Where have you encountered this creature?
You probably won't believe me, but I encountered him in the Astral Sea.
How? How did you get there? How did you get back?
Well, I was taken there about 350 years ago by an unstable manifest zone in the holds. I got back by means of a druid who was able to plane shift me back here once we were close enough. And if you have somebody who can cast the Zone of Truth, I will happily state that all again under it.
He pauses for a second and thinks about this. And just says, whether you are telling the truth or not is not really of consequence here, because of how grave this threat has already presented itself. The city is in chaos. The outlying lands fall deeper and deeper into this darkness based on our intelligence. We need people to help restore order and peace.
Isn't that what your army's for and your guards?
That task seems monumental for just the three of us.
Well,
You would agree.
honestly, you're not Royal Guard nor Navy, but you seem to have skills. Plus, if you die, well, you can understand how it benefits us of not sending out resources when our nation is in shambles after the death of our king.
So your true colors are shown, sir.
Yeah, well, you can say that.
Well,
We are but fodder to you. That you would ask these ludicrous things of us?
Let me be clear. This isn't really the throne asking for a favor, but more offering a choice. Embark on this mission, or sit in the cells until a trial can be brought against you. A trial that will show random people all escaping a scene of assassination of the king. So, you go on this mission, and you will find pardons, funding, and freedom. Or await justice for the murder of the king, since you were the only ones left alive, and clearly being of great strength and ability. What say you? Before you get a chance to answer, you see that same dark fog start to roll across the floor from the king's name day just a few weeks ago.
I wanted to do an inside check to see if this guy would actually keep his word.
Go for it.
So that is a 15.
With a 15, you can definitely see that he's clearly an asshole. But by having witnesses here, knights that are sworn to their honor of the throne, not to the ruler, and seeing this amphibious warlock as well, that there's at least the accountability that he is not lying about this opportunity to offer you pardons and funding and anything else like that. But you can also see that he's trying to do this like a business exchange. Is he doesn't want to use his newly appointed resources as acting ruler to send out knights and the King's Guard or the Navy to search the continent to find information.
Can Valerian roll maybe a history check or something to remember if his name's ever popped up during any of his call them investigations?
Yeah, give me either a history or an intelligence check. I'll say at advantage, but a DC 16. DC 15, but yeah. So with a 17, you know that Jakobis has been the hand of the king for his entire rule, which has only been about 5 or 6 years. But he was also the hand of the king, who was his brother, King Johannes III, for many years. Has never been caught up in any sort of scandal, but always has looked for the cheapest option to yield the highest result. And then, like I said, that fog starts to roll in, just covering the floor. It's not more than knee height. It doesn't impede any sort of movement or anything like that.
well, shit.
And suddenly, you see some cult fanatics and two other cultists appear. And I need everyone to roll for initiative.
Make sure if you click on your character token and then click it so you get added to the order. Dang, with how crappy it is, I'm not rolling too horrible for initiative.
use to pop. Oh.
Chad, didn't you say there was something where he clicked my character, then it would pop up on the thing for initiative? But
Yeah, you click on your token and then click roll your initiative, and it'll be added to the order.
Sometimes up by like that navigation bar on the left side, a thing will pop up that says initiative.
oh yeah, it hasn't been doing that for me lately. That's why I was asking.
Oh. So,
That's a 20 for me.
okay. Sorry. Okay, so I got all of those. Wait, so we've got that. Okay, so cult fanatic. Gonna do that. That guy. We're gonna do that.
Do we have our weapons and such? Or?
Yes, as they unshackled you, they returned your weapons to you.
So like all of our everything, all of our belongings.
Yep, and you've had long rests, so you know, like, you have all of your spell slots and everything like that.
That was going to be my question too. About the weapons.
Oh. Okay. So the first person to act is this warlock. What he is going to do is he is just going to walk.
I didn't get added.
You did not get added. What did you have again?
I added 20.
Okay.
An unnatural 20.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Everyone else is on there though. Okay, cool. Okay. So, this warlock is going to walk up and cast invisibility on the hand of the king, the acting king. So, disappears. And you can only assume that he probably also ran away after that. So then that's going to be the cultist turns. One of them is just going to walk up here. The other one's going to walk up to there. And where are they? The first one's going to swing on Valerian with his scimitar. I'm assuming that everyone's seen
I'm
that.
not trying to call you out here, but I rolled a 20.
You're right. Fuck me. You go first.
Okay. So when Valerian sees these guys just kind of come out of the woodworks, I won't say he gets like frightened, but he definitely gets rather startled, and he's actually going to kind of retreat back. Oops. He's going to retreat up towards the like throne area, and then sorry, I got to read this. Sorry.
No, that's perfect, because I just got to grab something from my cop.
I know if you go at all range, it doesn't make sense for me to knock them down.
So, out of curiosity, would you allow a if I since I went first, if I darted back up here and created a minor illusion, would you think I could pass that off as something that they didn't know that I created? Does that make sense?
Yes. That's not my answer, but I understand what you're saying. So is that so you would cast the cantrip Minor Illusion?
Okay, yeah, kind of as I was running back towards this towards the throne here, cast a Minor Illusion. Basically what I would like to do, cast a Minor Illusion of about a larger than a 15-foot cube, like a 15-foot tall giant, where I kind of right by where I was, somewhere over here.
Yeah, I mean, you can cast it, but that's going to be your action.
Right. But would it be like would I have to roll anything to? Because I would assume that if I ran and cast it, like they would, suddenly a giant just, poofed.
For them to see beyond it, they have to do a saving throw.
Okay.
So you could cast it; it would be there.
They wouldn't just automatically know that. Okay, well,
they have to do
really
an intelligence saving throw. If they fail, they think it's a real thing.
Okay.
Is what I'm understanding, right, Dave?
So It's an investigation check to determine if it's illusion or not, but it wasn't here when they came into the room, so they would know it's fake.
That's a good point.
That's fair. Okay. Scratch that. So I'm gonna retreat back up to here, and then on probably problem I have with some of these spells and stuff is that it says like within range, but I don't know if that is that my movement range or is that spell casting range?
What's the
It should
spell?
say what the range is for each spell.
Well, I'm trying to cast Mind Sliver. Okay. It doesn't say it where it says range, but it does say 60 feet.
Yeah, so within 60 feet, that's most of this room. So,
Okay. Um,
well, from where you're standing, it's everyone in this room. But
all right. So I'm gonna run back here, and I'm just gonna cast Mind Sliver on this guy down. One of the, I'm not sure what they are, the spiky head dudes down at the other end of the room.
cool. They're like low level cult followers.
So they have to succeed on an intelligence saving throw, or take 1d6 psychic damage, and subtract a d4 from their next saving throw before the end of my next turn.
What kind of save was it? Sorry.
Intelligence.
Intelligence. Yep,
So a 6. That I'm assuming that fails.
I assume as well.
Yeah. So he takes 1d6 damage of psychic.
And then on a
Oh, 3.
fail, is he like frightened or anything like that?
No, he has on his next saving throw. He has minus 1d4 to that roll.
Okay. All right. So then that is the cultist's turn. Unless you have more. Sorry.
No, not really a bonus action per se, but just like as he kind of, as soon as Valerian casts that, he kind of like turns around away from all of the action and just like takes a few like panicked breaths, and digs his little mask out of his satchel and claps that thing on.
Okay. So then the cultists are going to come up. The first cultist is going to attack Caster with their scimitar. That's a crit, but only for 5. Good God. So that's 5 damage to Cass. The other one is going to swing on Luminora. Misses. That is going to now be the Warlock's turn. They are
Well,
just...
Didn't he make the guy invisible?
Yeah. So basically everything that happened, and then he's just going to come stand behind the throne just to basically give himself a little bit of cover depending on who may or may not attack. And then that is Cass. That's you.
All right. I look at this guy, comes up, stabs me for 5 with his little scimitar. You picked the wrong dwarf to mess with, buddy. And I swing my warhammer on him. Ooh, that's only 11. That's probably not going to hit.
On the cultist, not quite.
And then, yeah, I'm not going to do anything with the bonus action this turn.
Okay. So that will be the knights. They're going to run up on the cult fanatics here, and then they're just going to make it. Actually, one is going to stay back, but the one that charges is going to swing his greatsword twice, misses, hits for 14, and then the other one is going to use his crossbow at the other cult fanatic there. 15 hits, but only for 2. So tis but a flesh wound. All right, that's Luminora. You're muted, I think.
Sorry, thank you. So the reaction, I can get that guy by me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll do that first of all.
Yeah. Is it within 10 feet?
Yeah, when they enter within 10 feet, she can use her reaction.
Yeah, so you can hit either the one that is right next to you that swung and missed, or the one in front of Cass.
I'll do the one right next to me.
That's fair. It's a DC 13 for your spell save. Either way, he fails. So roll a d4.
I got a 3.
A 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, he starts coughing up like bits of mushrooms and stuff like that. Like this hurt him.
Oh dang. Okay. I am going to do entangle, but for that, do I need to back up, or can I do it right where I'm standing?
You can do it right where you're standing. There's not an attack roll associated with it.
Okay. So I will go ahead and do that then.
Do you have the icons, Chad, or I could drag it out?
Oh, I do have them actually. Entangle, is that a 20-foot radius?
Yeah. So, it's a 20. It's a 4x4 square.
4x4 square. Okay. Oh, what? Why? I bought the pack. Why is it not there?
It should be under your.
Oh, premium. Right? Templates. Yeah. There it is. I was like, excuse me. I bought this. Okay, so how do you... Just like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And that just creates difficult terrain, or they have to do saves, or...
It's a strength saving throw, or they are restrained.
Okay, so... Strength...
That's a big fail. Or...
So
first
one here
Ah.
passes. The one that is over here is restrained, and then the two cultists definitely restrained. So the two cultists
Super restrained.
super restrained, and then they also are at disadvantage.
they're at they can't move because their speed is 0, and their attacks are at disadvantage, and all attacks on them have advantage.
Okay.
I like that.
So yeah, just the one back here is the only one that is not restrained, but the other 3 are.
Yeah, and going forward, it is a strength check. So if they had any bonuses to their saving throws, they don't get it going forward. But they probably don't.
None of them for strength. No.
Yep. So if you wanted to back up Schaloan, they'd be at disadvantage to hit you walking away now.
Okay, can I move the full 30 feet?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Just wondering. Okay. I will move to right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
9 misses. Okay, so now that is the cult fanatics. We will start with this guy is going to run up on the knight because they're more concerned about the leadership and stuff like that. Not as concerned with you, and no one's hit him yet. It's going to swing. So that's 8, 11 to that first knight. They're pretty hefty.
Still, you've rolled a lot of crits.
I'm cheating. That's how.
Yeah.
The other one that was
We all know this.
is gonna swing on the other knight. Misses. This one. Oh, sorry. How did that guy get included?
Yeah, so click on the... I was going to say the other way is what I do is you
Put it on the map.
you right click and move it to the map layer.
Smart. That's so much better. This one's gonna run up and swing on Cass, and you haven't done Shield of Faith yet.
So instead, I'll take 4 piercing.
And then it's a strength save for this other guy to try and get free.
Yeah, and that takes his action if he does that.
Totally fine. If he fails, does he take damage?
No, he's just still stuck and restrained.
Okay. He's still stuck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's back to the top of the order with Valerian.
Okay. After he puts his little mask on, he turns around. I would say with a much more serious face, but you can't really see it. He is going to... I guess that wouldn't make much sense because he can't move. Since he has advantage, he's going to run up and hit one of these cultists that's attacking the guard, just since he's the closest one to him. With his rapier.
We're just... If I'm mistaken, where are you getting advantage from?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh wait, I might be thinking of the wrong thing. You might be right.
I mean, you could take a couple more steps and just get to the backside of him, and then you'd be flanking with advantage.
I mean, he'll still trigger sneak attack, is what I think you're thinking about.
Yeah, but I think I might have been I might have actually been thinking about steady aim. They both actually use something. No, yeah, that's sneak attack.
Yeah, sneak
Yeah,
attack
because
is when he's engaged by another friendly.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so still, he is engaged.
I get advantage for everything, Chad.
That's fair.
So yeah, I'm gonna run up and with advantage. Valerian pulls out his rapier, kind of has it in like a backwards grip,
Sokotano style.
Sokotano style. Opatano.
I was gonna say Opa is Sokotano style.
And he tries to take a slash at him
Okay.
if I can.
17 hits for 4.
So 4 plus a 5,
9.
so that's a total of 9. And then he's going to use his cunning action to disengage with him. Let's see, that was 5. He's going to kind of run over right into the middle of the room.
Okay. So then that's the cultist. The first one that's right next to Cass is just going to swing at disadvantage. Misses. The other one is going to try and get unrestrained and misses and is still stuck. That comes back to the warlock, who is just trying to keep some distance and is just going to shoot an eldritch blast at that cult fanatic that is within sight. Misses. And it's just going to stay there. So then that's back to you, Cass.
I look at this cultist who's now all tangled up in vines and just put a big smile on my face and go, "Yeah, it's really not your day, is it?" And then I'm going to swing my warhammer on him. That is a 24 to hit with advantage.
The 13 would have hit too.
Well, because he's right next to the other guy, I'm going to put a little rocket fuel behind this hammer and add a divine smite onto it.
Good fucking god.
So that's only 10 total. That was a really shitty roll on damage.
Oh,
Like-
well, that's
That was
That's
a one.
fine.
It was a 1 on my weapon damage die, and then my smites rolled 2, like a pair of 2s. So
well. The cleaving damage didn't do a whole lot, but you swing the hammer through. Doesn't I mean it's a person with a spiky helmet. So basically, what happens is you collide with the side of its head, crushes it in, and the spike of his helm goes into the shoulder of the cult fanatic for 1 point of damage.
if I could have rolled like anything reasonable, that would have probably done a lot more.
All right. Anything else for Cass?
Yeah, I will bonus action Shield of Faith myself this time.
Okay. So that adds +2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet. So that now it is the knight's turn. The first one is going to swing just his great sword twice. Second one hits for 11. Just clings, gets parried, and then follows it up with an upward stroke for pretty decent damage. That dude's looking pretty hurt. The other knight is going to swing his great sword. 15 hits for 21 and just fucks this dude up. They are on death's door. Their arm is hanging on. Basically just the tendon wasn't cut, but other than that, one arm is just hanging off of this cult fanatic and just looks like he's on the verge of shitting his pants. All right, and that's back to Luminora.
These like railings here in the middle of the map, I can like hop over that, right?
Yeah, the shadow says that they're railings, but more or less, I just think the way that I anticipate this is that it's like just decorative tiling.
Okay,
So you
so
can
I can
ignore
definitely cross over it.
Yeah, you can ignore them as railings. I didn't realize that they were railings until you said railings, and then I saw the shadow. So,
Okay, I think I am going to should I get this right here? Go for this guy
okay.
with chill touch here.
Okay.
Hopefully that went through.
Definitely hits. Roll for damage. That's 5. Okay, fantastic. And then anything else you want to do? I don't know. Other than healing touch, I don't know what else you have for bonus actions. Or if you want to use the rest of your movement to go someplace else, you can.
I'll
or
stay
you,
put.
or you could go symbiotic entity.
No, she cast this cantrip, so she can't, because that's an action.
Oh, it's an
yeah.
action. I thought it was a bonus action. My bad. Okay, so then that goes down to the cult fanatics. This first one that is still entangled. The one fighting the knight that is just looking pretty fucked up but not actually dead is going to throw daggers, misses both times. The other one that's on death's door is going to do the same, misses with both. The one next to Cass is going to just keep throwing daggers, I guess. 22 hits for 5 piercing and misses, so you take 5. Just foot, and one clangs off the armor and the other one just hits that gap. Definitely keep up your shield of faith. That is back to the top with Valerian.
Valerian is going to. Where is it? Was it this guy? Might have misheard you. Did you say that this guy here is looking pretty rough?
No, it's this one.
This guy is looking pretty hurt. This guy is on death's door. This guy has been hit, but he's not too messed up. This guy's a little fucked up. And this guy still has full health, but he's just kind of like trapped in a corner. Like the vines wrapped up around his legs and attached themselves to the pillar that he's up against.
I love that. Alright. So in true Valerian fashion, he's going to rush up, avoiding the entangling snare of these vines. And again, he's going to hit with his rapier, hopefully as he rushes by, with a 14.
14 hits. So roll for damage.
That's an 11 damage plus 9, so 20 damage.
He's looking really messed up. He is not having a good time.
He's then going to go almost right back to where he was, right kind of behind Caster.
All right. So now it's the remaining cultist's turn, trying to break out. 14 finally does, but that's his action.
Mm-hmm.
But he still gets his movement, or is this at the end of his turn?
He still gets his movement, but it costs him 10 feet of movement to get out of it because it's difficult terrain.
Okay. He's not too smart. He's going to come up here, so he has his pick of enemies, but is not a very intelligent guy. So then that goes to the warlock, who's just going to Eldritch Blast, again, keeping some distance to the one that's on death's door. It definitely hits. You just see this cult fanatic just basically pink mist, just into blood and guts everywhere, and drops. Then that is Cass.
Well, to quote a great artist, it's hammer time. And that is a critical hit. That is a natural
Jesus.
20.
Fuck.
Nat 20. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, if he wasn't so wounded, I would put a smite into it, but it's not worth it. No, it was still turned on, so hold on. That's why I did that.
Either way, finish him.
You
You don't have to take the smite.
Well, it was 11 plus. It was 18 damage. So yeah,
The +7 alone finishes him.
yeah. So that's just. I just look at him and I just uppercut him with the hammer and I knock him square back into that pillar behind him.
So as you do that, you notice that it's just the body, and then a second later, the head lands exactly where he was standing. It just pops straight up like a sock and bop 'em robot, and then plops back down. But the body's no longer there.
And then I turn around to the guy who walked up behind me, and I just crack my neck like, all right, now I'm warmed up.
He looks terrified. Like, he just looks at you and goes, honestly, dude, I don't even like working here. These guys are weird. And then that is the knights. So the first knight that's still engaged with the dude that's there does that. Just gores him straight through the chest, into the wall. You hear stone crack as the sword goes all the way through him and cracks the wall. This other knight is just going to take a step off to the side and shoot his crossbow at the cultist that is standing there. and goes right through, because he turned to you when he saw you turn around and crack your neck. He's terrified, and before you get to do anything, Cass, you see an arrow burst through the back of his head, out his eye, and he slumps over.
Sucks to be you.
And that is Luminora. There's just the one cult fanatic that is still tied up in your vines down here, just struggling, has not been able to break out, but is just trapped, watching everyone else get murked around him. And he's suddenly really regretting wearing a red shirt / cloak.
I get it.
Star Trek reference.
Okay, so tea time question. If I used Thorn Whip on him, could I do that and drag him through the entangled?
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't break it unless he leaves the square. But I think Thorn Whip, I don't know how far it pulls him off the top of my head.
I think it said it's a 30 feet thing, and then it brings them 10 feet closer.
Yeah, so it only pull him 2 spaces closer.
But with Entangled, they don't take damage for moving through it, right?
No, but he'd still be restrained because he's still within the square. But if she pulled him out of the square, he would no longer be restrained.
Let's see here.
But she would only pull him 10 feet, so she could
Yeah,
pull
so she-
into the middle of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
but I think Thorn Whip, I don't remember what its damage is. It's like...
1d6 piercing.
Yeah, so your chill touch has a potential to do more.
Okay, so I'll do chill touch then. And
This chill touch is 1d8. And you have advantage on the attack roll.
okay, I will do that one. Can I do that from where I'm standing? I don't know how to get that line.
It's got 120 foot range. You're probably more than good.
Yeah. And that body that's in front of you is on the ground, so there's nothing blocking
So it's
view.
clear. Okay. So I will do that. I'm going to go ahead and roll on chill touch.
13 hits.
Nice. 4.
4. Okay. Okay, so then that is that cult fanatic's turn. They're going to try and break out. They're still stuck. So that is back up to Valerian.
Yeah, it's going to.
Fish in a barrel.
Just one of the knights you hear yells, "Hell yes, brother!"
Alright, he's going to. Valerian eyes in his next and final target. Says, "You're mine now." So that is avoiding the entangle, of course. He quickly and deftly runs up, swipes him, rapier, for a 23 to hit.
23 hits.
Since I have advantage, it does 4 damage, plus the 2d6 for an extra 6, so 10 damage. And then, I guess I should ask Dave, do I need to roll Booming Blade, or is that just, it goes with the hit?
It automatically goes with it, but it would only trigger if he moved, which he can't.
Right. Well, I guess he's probably not going to get another turn anyway. So yeah, I'm going to then just kind of back up 10 feet there.
Alright, so you used pretty much all your movement to get up there? Because you only have, what, 30 feet of movement?
30, yeah, 30, my bad.
Yeah, so you could do a cutting action dash, but he'll just get an attack on you at disadvantage.
I'll just do the 5 feet that I have left.
Okay. He still gets an attack on you.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, well, no, you can use your disengage if you're using your last 5 feet, so.
Yeah.
So then it's the Warlock's turn.
I think that at this point in time, from where the Warlock is, and they're just kind of in protection mode and keeping distance, that they're just going to hold. They're going to just step to this side and just hold a reaction in case that cult fanatic breaks out. So then that is Cass.
Well, unfortunately, I can't get up to him because that's difficult terrain, so it would slow me down. I mean, if it went with 15 feet of movement, but I think, it's 15 feet. I would need 30 feet of movement, which I don't have as a dwarf.
I can only move.
got little legs.
I can only move 25 feet.
I guess
So,
there's short, stubby legs.
so I'll just stow my hammer and then I will pull out a javelin and throw it at him.
Here, I thought you were just gonna wait.
No. So I'll just throw a javelin at him with advantage.
Man of action.
That is a 16 to hit.
It does.
Yeah, that's 5. I don't think dueling style actually works on ranged attacks. That's an interesting question. Fighting style dueling. Yeah, melee weapon. So it's only 5.
Okay. Looking hurt. So then that's the 2 knights' turn. First one's just gonna step up for a more clean shot. They have advantage with their crossbow for 6. The other one shoots and misses. Now this... I don't know why that's not working. There it goes. The cult fanatic is looking fucked up. Cuts and slashes across their body, an arrow sticking out of a shoulder. They're just not doing great at all. And that's Luminora.
I'm gonna chill touch him. Here.
Roll for damage. Definitely hits.
Sweet. So 6.
Dude's on death's door, looking, just regretting every life choice that led him here. Crying a little bit, blood starting to run out of his nose, out of the corner of his mouth, as he's just getting beat up on and can't move. He just has to take it. But that is the cult fanatic's turn. Is going to try and get out with a nat 20. He does. Just going to take a step to the side and is going to
Do nothing.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking action. You're right. Dude is trying so hard to just stay alive, and it's not going good. That is now Valerian's turn.
Did you just hold out your rapier and did he fall on it?
Actually, I'm sorry. The warlock was holding its attack in case it freed itself. It's just going to Eldritch Blast it. But it misses.
But he misses. So Valerian watches this guy struggle, bloody, managed to get out of there, and lets out like a little laugh behind his mask, just like I don't want to say like an evil laugh, but it's definitely not like a friendly laugh. And he's gonna cast Mind Sliver on him.
Right, and what does that do?
It's a DC 12 intelligence save.
Okay. Intelligence.
And he... Oh, never mind. That's not it. Never mind. Scratch that.
Finish him.
Let me read this. Sorry, I have to read this now.
No, he just takes 5 psychic damage, so he's dead, is what you said.
Yeah, he had 2 hit points left.
Well, I was trying to read exactly what Mind Sliver does, but...
It gives them a penalty on their next saving throw.
You drive a disorienting spike of psychic energy into their mind. So I'm going to say, like, he gets, like, this smile on his face after finally having gotten out of that entanglement. And then I shoot this Mind Sliver, and you just see, like, this piercing psychic energy just, like, hit his brain, and his eyes roll in the back of his head, and, like, that smile just, like, very slowly dies as he's completely, well, brain dead. And he just kind of falls to his knees, then face plants onto the floor.
As he drops in his final breath, you hear him say, "How dare you deny the glory to Zozeb?" And drops.
Valerian takes off his mask and puts it back. Oh, I knew I've heard that voice somewhere before. Or that name, sorry.
At the end of that, the noble reappears and walks around the throne and looks at you and just goes, "So, do we have a deal?" And that's where we're going to end our episode. Ooh.
Damn.
And that is why Entangle is such a great spell.
Hell yes. And so if our listeners like this and would like to support us, please head on over to buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd.
We
Also-
love coffee.
Oh, coffee's the best. Also, like, share, subscribe to stay up to date on episodes, updates, and announcements. And is there anything that you all would like to plug for the end of this episode?
I don't have anything this week. Still early summertime. I might have some things later, or if I ever get back to doing stuff on YouTube, maybe I'll plug that.
All right. Anyone else?
I'm kind of in the same boat.
Not this week.
All right. Perfect. Well, just like last week, if you're into other nerd stuff, TV, movies, film, comics, things like that, check out another one of our podcasts over at the All Things Nerd Podcast. You can go to allthingsnerdpodcast.com or find it wherever you get your podcasts. That's it from us. Goodbye from Kobolds in the Basement.
Later.
Bye bye.
See ya.